The Minnow and the Great White. In the depths of Azure Reef, where rainbow corals swayed like underwater forests, lived a tiny silver minnow named Finn. No bigger than a child's thumb, Finn spent his days darting between the coral branches, dreaming of something greater than his small existence. While other minnows were content to school together in safety, Finn yearned to be feared and respected like the legendary sharks that ruled the open waters. "If only I were mighty like them," Finn would whisper to his reflection in the sandy bottom, "then everyone would notice me." One fateful morning, the reef fell silent as a massive shadow glided overhead. Razor, a great white shark longer than 3 dolphins, descended into their peaceful world with predatory grace. His black eyes scanned the coral like searchlights, and his rows of razor-sharp teeth gleamed white against his gray hide. Fish of every size scattered into crevices and caves, but Finn, trembling with both terror and excitement, swam boldly toward the apex predator. "Great Razor!" Finn called out, his tiny voice barely audible. "I am not afraid of you. Teach me to be fierce and powerful like you." The shark's laugh rumbled through the water like distant thunder. "You? A speck of silver dust wishes to learn about power?" Razor circled the minnow slowly, amused by such audacity. "Very well, little one. Let me show you what true strength means." For his first lesson, Razor demonstrated his might by smashing through a delicate coral garden with his massive tail, destroying the homes of countless small creatures in seconds. "Fear is respect," he declared, watching hermit crabs scurry from the wreckage. "Only the strong deserve to survive." Next, Razor showed how terror commanded instant obedience. With a single threatening gesture, he sent entire schools of fish fleeing in perfect unison. "See how they dance to my will," he sneered. "This is what power looks like." Finn tried desperately to imitate his teacher, puffing out his tiny chest and attempting fierce expressions, but he could only manage to frighten a few baby seahorses, who quickly realized he was harmless. Days passed until Razor decided to test his student. "Prove your newfound strength," the shark commanded, as a school of wounded fish appeared, trailing blood from their encounter with fishing nets above. They sought shelter in the reef's protective embrace, their eyes pleading for sanctuary. "Choose, little minnow." Razor's voice was cold as deep ocean currents. "Help these weaklings and remain forever small, or abandon them to show you've learned what strength truly means." Finn froze, his tiny heart pounding against his ribs like a trapped sea anemone. The wounded fish looked so pathetic, so utterly helpless, just as he had always felt. Part of him whispered that this was his chance to finally be different, to be strong and respected like Razor. If he turned away now, the great shark would surely accept him as an equal. But another voice echoed in his mind. The terrified gasps of the hermit crabs, whose homes Razor had destroyed, the panicked cries of fish fleeing in terror. Was this truly the power he had dreamed of? His silver scales trembled as he watched one of the injured fish, a young angelfish with a torn fin, struggle to stay upright in the current. "They're weak," Finn muttered to himself, trying to convince his wavering heart. "The strong survive, the weak perish. That's nature's law." Yet as he spoke the words, they tasted bitter as sea salt in his mouth. The angelfish's eyes met his, not with the mindless fear he had seen others show Razor, but with desperate hope. Hope that someone, anyone, might show mercy. Finn's mind raced with justifications. He could swim away, claim he was following Razor's teachings, finally earn the respect he had always craved. No one would blame him. He was just a minnow, after all. What could he possibly do against the vast, cruel ocean? But then he remembered his own lonely nights hiding in coral crevices, dreaming of someone who might understand his struggles, someone who might see value in his small existence. These wounded fish weren't looking for a predator to fear. They were looking for exactly what he had always hoped to find: a protector. The internal battle raged for only moments, but it felt like hours. Finally, Finn's conscience won over his ambition. He looked directly at Razor, his tiny voice steady, despite his trembling fins. "I choose to help them," Finn declared, and before Razor could react, the little minnow darted through narrow coral passages only he was small enough to navigate, guiding the wounded fish to safety in hidden caves where the great shark could never follow. Enraged by this defiance, Razor lunged forward, but Finn's intimate knowledge of every crevice and tunnel in the reef made him impossible to catch. The minnow led the shark on a futile chase through a maze of coral until Razor, exhausted and humiliated, finally gave up. From the shadows emerged Marina, an ancient sea turtle whose wise eyes had witnessed countless seasons. "Well done, young Finn," she said, her voice warm with approval. "You have discovered something that creature never could. That true power lies not in the fear you create, but in the lives you choose to protect." Razor, defeated not by strength but by compassion, slunk away into the dark depths, while Finn returned to his community transformed. No longer did he dream of being feared. Instead, he became known throughout the reef as its greatest guardian, using his small size and quick wit to guide lost travelers and protect the vulnerable. And in the vibrant coral gardens of Azure Reef, the tiniest fish had become the mightiest hero of all.